John, Carol, hey, congratulations on your new series, Dinner with the Parents.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Such a hilarious series. So, John, we have to hear it as the what what is the genesis of this series? How did this actually came about?
Dinner with the Parents is an American comedy based on a long-running, very successful British sitcom called Friday Night Dinner, about a family that gets together for dinner every week, even though it's always a complete disaster. And CBS Studios offered me the opportunity to develop a show based on Friday Night Dinner. And when I saw it, I immediately related to the premise. I grew up in a family very similar to the one on the show, uh, and I guess therefore to the family of Robert Popper, who created Friday Night Dinner. Um, I grew up in a house with a brother and my parents, and we're very silly when we get together, and we all kind of feel like we're still playing the roles that we played, many years ago when my brother and I were kids. Those dynamics, once they exist, they're with you for the rest of your life. And that
Uh,
was something that I love the idea of making a show about how, even though we love our family, to some degree, we're trapped in these roles and that were defined when we were kids, and we can never quite get out of them. And there are all these in jokes, and if you do one stupid thing, you're mocked for it for the rest of your life. Uh, this was all, I thought, great ingredients for a family comedy that I haven't exactly seen before. So I jumped at that opportunity.
That sounds excellent. And Carol, what initially drew you to this project? Because you have done so many great projects in the past yourself.
oh, thank you. Well, first of all, I the way I found out about it is that I was in Paris with my mom. She lived there a long time, and I got a call from a director who I love working with. Just Jim Shapiro is his name, and he directed some Kimmy Schmidt's. And he called me from London, and he said, "I'm doing this show, and it starts in a week or something like that. I think it was like a week." And he sent me the script, and I just thought it was so great. And me and my mom took a boat train to London with a suitcase packed for 3 weeks, and we stayed 4.5 months. And we had a great time. The show is really fun to do.
It looks like a lot of fun, most definitely. So, John, when you're taking a British show and trying to convert it into like American humor, was that difficult to do? And are there similarities between British and American humors?
Hmm.
Um, I think there are probably some general differences in tone between British comedy and American comedy. Uh, but for me, the best comedy comes out of characters
Behavior.
and behavior, human relationships. Um, and so we didn't think that much about British versus American. We just thought in terms of what is the funniest, worst decision that this character can make at this
The worst
moment
decision.
based on how we
I
define
love
them,
that.
based on whatever their human flaw is and whatever predicament we put them into. Um, we we tried to build a show in which characters would make terrible decisions and then just double down on them at every turn until things escalated to a ridiculous degree.
I
These are
will say
not
one.
characters.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead,
want
Carol.
to interrupt for half a second to say that in terms of the question of British humor and American humor, I will say that the crew was laughing a lot. So I
That's
think
true.
they were British. So I guess they got the American humor at least.
Yeah, and I should add, it was really fun collaborating with the British creator and producers of the original series because they were all EPs on our show. And I really didn't find that we disagreed on much in terms of what was funny and what were the right choices for this show. I mean, uh, Robert Popper is his own person, and I'm my own person, and we each would do things our own unique way. But yeah, I like to think that once British fans of the original series get over their indignation that anyone would dare do an American show based on it, that they'll find things to enjoy about these new different characters. I hope.
Most certainly do. Carol, tell us about developing the Russian accent for your character Nanya in this series. And John, was it always a Russian accent for her character?
It it took a very long time before it got narrowed down in any specific way. I mean, I was in writing the character, I was thinking of my own Nana who lived with me and my family when I was growing up. Um, she was American born, but her uh, the generation before her um, uh, was not, and so I did grow up as a little kid, um, with family who had come from Eastern Europe when they were younger, and for me the best one of the best parts of doing this series was that when Carol agreed to do the part, she created a character. There was certain things were on the page, but she had created a character in her mind and just willed it into being. And it was such a gift to me to have that collaboration from someone so brilliant. And the accent, Carol developed, and we embraced. And I think Russia is mentioned on the show, but really, I think for a lot of us that have um, family that came from somewhere else, I hope this is just a relatable thing of the grandma who's from a bit of a different world, and she knows the way things were done where she came from, and she's always a little bit appalled at how they're done here and now.
Mhm.
And it's a relatable relationship, I think, to a lot of
Yeah.
people with immigrants in their ancestry, which so
And
many
my,
of us
my
have.
grandmother came from Vienna and roots are Russian, Austrian, and so I just pulled from my family heritage.
And how enjoyable is playing this character for you, Carol?
Oh, so much fun. I get to dress up crazy and be the authority and I loved it and I get to do the physical comedy and it's just really fun. But and have fun with the rest of the cast. I really think they're great and that gives me a lot of freedom that I enjoy them so much genuinely and trust them so much and yeah.
Most excellent. Well, John, Carol, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us about dinner with the parents. I could tell the chemistry amongst the cast is just hilarious, and I wish it was like 20, 25 episodes. I could watch this all year round.
Oh,
Yay.
thank you, Gig. I'm so happy to hear that.
As my people say, from your mouth to God's ear.
Yes.
Well
Thank you,
said.
Gig.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gabe.